Sabah is turning out to be an interesting state because everyone is saying that in Sabah you will not have a dominant group or dominant coalition emerging. So it looks like in Sabah there will be four big groups clashing in these coming elections. On the opposition side, of course, you have Pakatan Harapan and Parti Warisan, which decided to go in alone. And on the government side, you have GRS and Barisan Nasional. So although GRS and the Barisan Nasional are part of the same state coalition government, we know that on the ground, many of the followers are actually fighting against each other. So today, I'm very pleased to have Dr. Joe Samad, living in Kota Kinabalu, a long-term observer of Sabah politics, to talk to us about what's actually happening in Sabah. So Joe, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So what's happening in Sabah now? What is your take on what's happening in Sabah after 1 week of campaigning?
I think from my observation, the contest is between two groups now. One is Pakatan Harapan and the other one is Warisan. GRS, nobody's talking much about GRS at the moment. Everywhere you go is between these two groups, Pakatan Harapan as well as Warisan. So I think GRS by themselves already has a record. We know their record, and the downside for GRS is they team up with BN UMNO, So that's a disadvantage to them. I don't know how they're going to shake it off. Whatever you say about GRS, people think about UMNO BN. Okay, they equate that to electing UMNO back to Sabah. Now, I think I was there last night with Shafi, Aziz Jaiman, and also Daryl Laking. And the Shafi stumped for Daryl Laking last night. Gave about one and a half long hour speech. And it seems that the fight between Pakatan Harapan is very, very tight, especially for Daryl's area, for example. So I think this resonates the same with all the urban areas that I know of. I'm not talking about the interior East Coast. That's a different ball game together. But I'm observing more of the urban areas at the moment, and to see that these two battles are shaping up very closely. So one thing is interesting. When I met one of the participants of the talk last night, and he mentioned that he is a Pakatan Harapan supporter, but at the same time he's obligated to vote for Warisan because of being a what you call a local party, So this is interesting, I think in the global context of Malaysia as a government, people are thinking Harapan is going to form the government. All right, but then they will need a partner, a local partner like Warisan, to make up the whole government entity and to preserve what Sabahans are pursuing, which is the MA63 and all the Sabah rights and autonomy and so on. So so this play is confusing, especially in the Moyok area, because the two young ones, Iwan Benedict, and Daryl Lacking, fighting it out. Two young future leaders. I mean, to me, Iwan is actually to me a parachute candidate. He should not be there. I mean, he should select another area to guarantee that in future that the KDMs would have two young leaders fighting for Sabah rights. But now, if they're slugging each other, nobody likes that, and I think it's stupid, for one community to prove to each other that one is a greater fighter for Sabah than the other. And it doesn't look good for Daryl at the moment. I think last night is quite subdued. I think the reality has set in that there's a real challenge now by Iwan under Pakatan Harapan's banner in Moyok area. And it could be a watershed battle to me. That is the sign of things to come in Sabah in the future. Now,
what's happening in the interior areas? What is your best guess of what's happening in the interior areas?
Interior area, I think we'll still go for Warisan at the moment. The East Coast. I'm talking about the East Coast. I think Warisan is still very strong. Now, what's interesting last night is that when I asked people why the crowd is small, why they select a small venue, I think we've forgotten that previously they had Pakatan Harapan and DAP together, so there were bigger crowds, bigger draw. So now it's like a lot of this ceramah, even DAP, PKR, has no womb to assess previous 2018 election. So that part is missing. It's more like okay, I accept the situation now. This is the situation we are in. All right, we'll fight it out. Okay, the best we can. And
What about the Muslim areas? What about the Muslim? Is anything interesting happening in the Muslim areas?
Muslim areas, I think it will be back to Shafi and UMNO side, like Bong Mokhtar. I think the biggest concern I've talked to people is the unknown voters, like the new ones. Okay, if they correctly predict that most of these are the gray population, meaning PTIs and other people, they definitely will swing to UMNO side with the money politics they've been playing, right? I mean, giving up $50 or what will definitely swing the votes lah, to the UMNO Barisan side lah, So that's one of the main worries lah. Okay.
So what
The
I'm
other
hearing
worry-
from you is that Pakatan, basically DAP, is likely to hold on to the urban Chinese seats. Most of the KDM seats will go to Warisan, and the
yes,
Muslim seats will be equally divided between UMNO and GRS.
yes, but all this will be with reduced majority lah. By the look of it, it won't be as big as last time lah. I think it'll be a very tight race for even for DAP in the urban area lah. Yeah, because some Chinese sentiments very strange that they're going for Warisan instead of DAP. All right, but how much is that? Yeah.
So Joe, coming back to the Chinese area, you mentioned earlier that you suspect some of the Chinese voters will support Warisan this time, but I thought that's quite normal because in Sabah, it's the personalities rather than the parties, and that Warisan has always projected itself as a multiracial party. Why do you find that surprising this time?
Well, the unknown factor is all these young candidates that Warisan has put up lah. Okay, so most of them are unknown. Okay, and people actually attend this ceramah to find out who are these people and talk about the background, where they're from, what is their education standards, and all that. I think this Warisan didn't, or any other party didn't do a very good job to put forward the candidates in terms of details. So there's a lot of speculation about these candidates, and it's not good. Okay, I think they should prepare a pamphlet ready, with their backgrounds, so that there's no argument about, what's the background, or we need to search on the internet, who these people are. Right. So last night, like the Warisan candidate, people were not aware, for example, that she was from DAP. All right. Earlier. So this is took some people by surprise, like, because they thought she's a fresh candidate found by Warisan and put up. Okay, so these are the some of these things which can improve, lah, along the party lines.
Sure. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room. As you know, in this election, there's an additional 500,000 new voters because of automatic registration and U18. Some of my Sabahan friends tell me that a big group of this might be the PTI. PTI has always played a very important role in swinging the votes, especially in urban areas and also in the interior Muslim majority areas. And yet, there's not much talk about PTI in this election. What is the reason for that?
Well, I think one, people are actually tired of this topic, and there's nothing much you can say more about PTI, lah. So PTI is just an acronym now. All right, it doesn't really have an impact on what people are actually feeling, as before. All right, I think most of us are resigned that the PTI will be in our midst, will be here to stay. And now, what is the solution? All right, So what can we talk about more about PTI, right? So the issue PTI to me in this election, as I said, is the unknown factor, lah, right? Our voters list has increased by 50% overnight, and then we don't know who these people are and who are to blame. It's the Kedasan Dusun leaders. I put full blame on them. I mean, if I look at the Kimanis election, all right, Warisan, the previous Kimanis election, Warisan lost because of this PTA issue when they wanted to issue some kind of a card or registration, all right, which didn't go well, and people used that, the opposition used that fully to exploit that, they're registering PTI. So as I written many times, I think the Christian majority of Kadazan Dusun, the race itself, and all that are being diluted now, and they become a minority. If they continue along these lines without finding a solution, then sooner or later this will be Malay Muslim dominated society where the ethnic races are put out aside or discarded. That is a danger that we all, as a true Sabahans, really feel. That we must do something about it. Now. We cannot put everything under the carpet now, sweep it under the carpet. We must face the reality. Okay. And for
Correct.
me, the first solution is register them so that we know. Now, what is happening now in this election where all these new voters come in is the fault of the Karasan Dusun for ignoring it for so long, fighting it out. The RCI was a long time ago, decades ago, right? And all the results are there, recommendations are there, and they still cannot get their heads around it.
All right.
Mm.
Thank you very much, Joe, for the update.
Okay,
We'll keep
thanks.
in touch and we'll probably speak again
Yeah,
after the
yeah.
election. Thank you.